Hello everyone, this is Gabriel Macias from P.O.E Innovations, and this video is going to be directed to the following authorities: the Department of State from the United States of America, the American Embassy in Mexico City, the American Consulate in Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico, the Mexican Embassy in Washington, D.C., and the Mexican Consulate in El Paso, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask you to please focus on the events that took place on December 5th, 2009, when I was detained at the Paso del Norte point of entry, passed on to secondary for inspection, and then was given the notice and order of expedited removal from the United States of America. Reading the written documentation that they gave me states that the reason they detained me and sent me back was because I presented my laser visa with a revoked status, and I have never been notified of that. And I'm going to ask you to please review the events since then. According to this, my visa has been revoked since May 9, 2002, when my contract with DynCorp de Mexico ended. According to DynCorp, because you are going to do some reorganization for the administrative section inside the laser visa department within the American Consulate. Now that took place on May 9, 2002. Myself, Mr. Juan Andreo, the director of DynCorp, and the interim consul back then, Armando Armendariz, never asked me for my visa and never told me that my visa would be revoked. And that was the first opportunity you had to notify me. The second one was the day after, when Mr. Juan Andreo and I went to the offices of Conciliación Arbitraje and the Labor Department in Mexico to terminate the contract and receive my severance pay. Mr. Andreo as well never notified me that my visa would be revoked. And the third opportunity he had to notify me was when the officer Becerril from the American Embassy in Mexico City called me in on June 19, 2003 to present the evidence I had against the consulate regarding fraud and corruption inside and out the American consulate. I went to the consulate, presented that information, gave out my IDs. They took copies that included my laser visa, and I got the documents back. And again, in that occasion, nobody notified me of the status of my visa. Having said that, I can honestly tell you that I have been able to come back and forth to all 3 points of entry, including the Santa Teresa Bridge, without any problems. No one at no time has detected that status in any of those 4 points of entry. So in conclusion, I think I've come up with 3 possibilities. Number 1, the status on my visa was never updated. Number 2, there is a lack of communication between the American Consulate and the points of entry. Or number 3, and I hope and pray I'm wrong with this, somebody intentionally, deliberately, and maliciously played around with the status on my visa till this date, December 5th, 2009. The last time I entered the United States, I really cannot remember it, but it had to do with whatever festive occasion happens throughout the year. My best references would be anytime the Texas Lotto jackpot goes beyond $100 million, you will see me there buying lotto tickets, alright? So, having said that, I consider this, again, an attempt to assassinate my character and deliberately damage my integrity as a former FSN that used to work for the American Consulate in Juárez. Back then, when I ended the contract, you guys come up with this press release. I replied back. It got a little messy. I gave out the flyers, all the information to the media, to the authorities. The next year, 2003, the investigation came about, and I wasn't entirely wrong. I was right in certain aspects, and they were proven. Alright? So again, considering all the evidence that I have with me, and all the times that I have crossed over, and nobody has been able to detect that visa with that status, because if you want proof that I've been there, here's one example. On July 2002, the Mexican consulate in El Paso sent me this document to present myself with the head counsel back then, Licenciado Juan Carlos Cuevega. I gave him the evidence that I had against the American consulate in Juarez. I also went to the offices of the FBI over at Pebble Hills on 3 occasions, to the offices of Homeland Security over at North Mesa and Executive. And if you want a copy of the show where I was over at the KLAQ radio station on the morning show with Buzz Adams, I have a copy of it if you want it. So again, I've crossed into El Paso many times. No one detected that visa, so there is a problem. You can consider it a severe security breach. As far as the visas, honestly, I'm not interested in regaining those visas back. The Department of State says that I committed a felony. I respect that. But in all honesty, the reason that I'm doing this is because you never notified me. And I consider it, again, an attack against my integrity. And I need to investigate this further, because if I'm right, and somebody did play with the status on my visa, you could have avoided all this by telling me, and I would have returned the visa to you, no questions asked. But the manner the events took place, me being detained and sanctioned for 5 years for your mistake, that's really, really not fair. So I will ask you, the authorities that I mentioned at the start of this video, to please review this case, and I will send you all the evidence that I have so we can actually review it and come up with some happy term arrangement. And again, I'm not interested in gaining those visas back, because I don't have to go to the United States. I can go to Guatemala, to Cuba, to Jamaica, to Japan, to Canada, man. I can actually go over you. So if I'm not welcome in the United States, so be it. You can keep the visa. But I want to clear my name, alright? Please. Thank you.